Welcome back to Training Tuesday.
This week we are going to discuss negative motivation and explain how it's applied. But first, why do we apply corrections?
We get that question quite often. People constantly ask us, why do you use shock collars, or why do I have to use a prong collar?
Before we get into the training collars, there are a couple of reasons why we apply corrections to your dog. The first one is to establish fair leadership and have a balanced relationship with your dog.
Next, we use corrections to reliably keep your dog safe from ingesting harmful items, getting seriously hurt or hurting themselves, and also to keep them from running away.
We also want to keep other people and children safe from being knocked over, jumped on, scratched, and more importantly, we want to keep people from getting bit by dogs.
Additionally, we also want to keep your dogs and pets safe from harm. Well-mannered and respectful dogs will have a better quality of life and will have the ability to go more places with their humans.
If your dog views you as a strong leader, the likelihood of your dog developing behavioral issues dramatically decreases.
All dogs are different, meaning they all take different levels of corrections. For example, if you got a speeding ticket for, say, 50 cents, would it really get you to stop speeding? Probably not. But on the other end of the spectrum, if you got a speeding ticket for, say, $10,000, would it get you to stop speeding? Yes, but it would also probably get you to stop driving altogether. So, our job is to find the level that your dog works at and not be on either end of that dramatic spectrum. We want to find that happy middle ground that keeps your dog wanting to work for us, but also doesn't give them too much negative motivation, causing them to shut down.
We're going to talk to you guys about two common tools that we'll use, and the first one is going to be a prong collar. So these are prong collars, and one of the biggest misconception about a prong collar is that it's just going to drive or poke into your dog's skin. And that's simply not what it's made for. You should absolutely never go and buy a prong collar without somebody teaching your dog and you how to properly use it and respond to it. So it's not enough for you to go to a pet store right now, purchase a prong collar, strap it on, and all your problems are gonna go away. That's actually extremely dangerous, and we do not recommend you go and do that yourself. But as I mentioned, prong collars, they're actually made to mock that dog and dog interaction. So when the correction happens, which is a slight little pop and release, these prongs come together for the split second that we correct.
Your prong collar should rest on your dog's neck like a bracelet, and it should never have constant tension on it. If you are walking your dog on a prong collar with constant tension, it means that you are consistently, or you keep correcting them that whole time, which is not how we want you to use it.
Right. This is my dog Margot, and she's going to help me help you understand how a prong collar should actually fit. We want to make sure that the prong collar is not too big. So you should never see a prong collar sit at the base of a dog's neck. Good girl, Margot. So as you can see, the prong collar sits at the very tip top of her neck, and we want the chain to be forward. on her trachea. So prong collars actually prevent tracheal damage from happening when they're used properly.
This is a remote collar. Some people like to call these shock collars, when in fact it does not actually shock your dog. This is not like sticking a fork in an electrical outlet. It is more stimulation, meaning that it is kind of like a TENS unit if you've ever used one of those for physical therapy before. It kind of feels like when your hand falls asleep. So it just is a tingly sensation that gets your dog's attention.
It's kind of more uncomfortable than it actually is painful.
Yes. So anyone that comes to us for training, even if you are not going to use this on your dog or do not plan on using it, is able to feel this during our orientations. The reasoning is we want people to understand completely what they are using on their dog and how it feels. You might think that your dog fully understands the word sit, when in fact your dog probably 60% understands that word and might be relying on your body language or posturing or things, subtle little things that you aren't actually conscious that you are doing while you're asking your dog to sit. So we are not going to get a remote collar and just strap it on your dog and start asking them to sit and correcting them if they're not sitting. We're going to do a lot of leash work so that we know that they fully understand what this correction is, as well as what the command is that we are asking them to do before we ever take them off leash.
Mabel, free! Good.